There's another huge game with a lot of implications that happened last night. For the first time in Brazil and on the first time on a Friday night, which is usually reserved for high school football. We had some NFL as the Green Bay Packers took on the Philadelphia Eagles. And, man, we had some big things come out of this one. The Eagles were able to pull off the win, winning at a score of, 34-29. Excuse me, I lost track of thought there. At a score of 34-29, Jalen Hurts went 20-34 with 278 passing yards, 2 TDs, and 2 interceptions. Jordan Love, 17-34, 260 yards, 2 TDs, and 1 interception as well. But the star of the game had to be Saquon Barkley, 24 carries, 109 yards, 2 TDs, 2 receptions for 23 yards, and 1 TD. Now, the biggest thing that came out of this one, obviously, was the Eagles won, but Jordan Love got hurt. Man, G-Mike, what's your biggest takeaways from this one, man? Because these two teams have a lot of huge playoff implications, and, man, that is never good to see when Jordan Love goes down, man.
Yeah, no, it definitely sucks. Shout out to my boy Jay on IG comments. It's saying go Canes because it's always go Canes, baby.
A lot of you pride out there, man. A lot of you pride.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just on the game yesterday, man, from start to finish, bro, the Eagles looked horrible in those first 5 minutes on offense and defense. They looked horrible. There was a pick thrown by Jalen Hurts, and then there was a fumble by Jalen Hurts and Saquon at the same time. It was like a 0.5 on the stats, if you would.
Yeah.
But then after that, bro, they started picking up the ball. I guess there was like some talk on the sideline, and they started showing out. The Packers came out in the beginning of the game. They were showing that they're really well on offense with all those additions at the wide receiver position, bringing in Josh Jacobs, which he didn't have a great game. He had a decent game. But the RB2, Wilson, he was doing work. The way that he was patient and trying to get into them holes and bursting up the holes and bro, he was fast, man. No lie, that guy Wilson, hey, he might get that like 40% carry mark like in a few weeks, bro. So watch out for that for you fantasy football players out there. Dude, but just overall in the game, both teams look good. Defensively for the Eagles, their secondary was not playing as well against these Green Bay Packers receivers. The receivers look so fast. They look like they were getting open too much. The route running skills were great, even though the field was wet and slippery, which we saw at least 5 to 6 times any player on any side slip.
Yeah, that was a big topic of conversation. A lot of people did not like the field.
It's a soccer field, bro. So you can't wear the same cleats. You got to wear different types of cleats. That's what it is. And yeah, you're used to turf or you're used to the man-made grass that it is in America. That it's different. It's not the same type of depth of grass and all this stuff. So it is a different case for a lot of players out there. But nonetheless, both teams played really well. Obviously, Saquon Barkley was the star of this game, and we already knew that was going to happen, man. Like once they signed him, I think a lot of people went from saying that the Eagles weren't going to make the playoffs to, oh shit, the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl, because Saquon Barkley is that dude. He made it known last night. He's going to make it known throughout the whole season. Yeah, he might even get Offensive Player of the Year. Watch out for that. So it's like both, like I said, both teams did good. Sucks that Jordan Love went down like that. He might miss next week. I really think he's going to miss next week. He might miss.
The way he went down, it looks like that might be a little bit of a lingering injury, man. That was such a shame, man. He was looking really good and poised too.
Yeah, 100%. But overall, good game on both sides. The Eagles just came out with it on top. I had the Packers winning in this, but I had a little 7-leg parlay that hit too, a little player prop parlay. So I'm feeling good about that.
And even if your pick don't hit, your parlays do. So there you go, man.
You know what I'm saying?
But you got to always have that insurance policy.
DC, man, what's your takeaways from this one, man? It was a hell of a game. Interesting.
It really was. Again, you hate to see Jordan Love go down, obviously, especially because of the big contract he just signed. But again, I think Green Bay is smart enough. They've learned from past experiences with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. They know, we got to take care of our golden goose. If that means we got to take a couple L's for a couple weeks, we'll be willing to do that. If it means that long term we're going to be fine. So, I'm not worried about that at all. I will say though too, shout out on the defense. New Packer Xavier McKinney making an impact and an interception. got Jair Alexander continuing to show why he's one of the best cornerbacks by getting one as well. So even in the loss, I think Green Bay still looked good. Obviously a lot of their weapons looking fantastic. Philadelphia, again, you might kind of hit it on it earlier. That defense, even though they didn't look as good as we thought, like they kind of should have been, they still did just enough to hold out and get the win. And then Saquon Barkley, making an impact. I think a bigger impact than I even anticipated. Like at least from the start of this year, if he plays like this, like the Eagles' offense is going to be back to what it once was a few years ago. The rushing attack is back in Philly.
Dude, imagine Saquon Barkley went from horrible offensive line to an amazing offensive line.
Yeah, agreed. Now, honestly, we all know I picked the Packers for the Super Bowl, so I'm going to shed a little light on them as well. As that, I think that it was week 1, so there was a couple of things that everybody obviously can clean up and tighten up a little bit. But I think with the Packers, I love their wide receiver core, and I love Josh Jacobs as well. So I think that's going to be a pretty good. Now, granted, obviously we all know Jordan Love went down. It's TBD. Malik Willis did not look prepared at all to be in there. He also didn't expect to be in there. It was the end of the game. He obviously didn't practice as much, but I do love that the fact they have a lot of weapons. And let's not forget about it, man. At one point in time, Malik Willis was considered one of the top quarterbacks coming out of college. People were fighting over he could have maybe been number 1 overall in that draft. I don't see it now, maybe because he just got figured out. He did go to Liberty, a smaller school. Maybe he just balled out in that conference. But maybe that kid has a chance, but now because he's on a good team. Before he went to Tennessee, who had horrible offensive line, never really, I think, had a chance to do anything in Tennessee there. So I'm interested to see what he's going to be able to do if he has to take the reins for a little bit. I'm hoping that he's going to be able to be stable enough to just be able to ride it out. Unfortunately for the Packers, they're in such a competitive division with the Lions, the Bears, and the Vikings. So that they need to at least be able to maintain in that. Maybe not be able to take the NFC North, excuse me. And who knows how long Jordan Love's out, but they just need to be able to stay competitive. That's all they really need to do. I think if Jordan Love is able to come back, this team is built for a Super Bowl run right now. So I think that they have a chance. I wouldn't be all doom and gloom yet. I know that's never good going in there, but as my dad asked earlier, it's the question of the day on here too. Is the Super Bowl thoughts over for you guys for the Green Bay Packers?
If Jordan Love is out for the rest of the season, yes. If he comes back, no, I think they're still in it.
Yeah, I mean, looking ahead at their schedule too for the next 3 weeks, just like you've got, Colts. They're playing at home against the Colts, so that'll be, it's an improved pass or it's an improved defense. Especially Leatu Latu, so that's going to be interesting how Malik goes up against him. That'll be tough. That'll probably be the toughest game they have over the next 3 weeks because then after that,
thanks, buddy.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a compliment, but also kind of like, look at who they're playing.
It was a backhanded compliment to my Colts. Thanks, guys.
It is. That's what we do here. Backhanded compliments and down bad debates.
There we go.
I mean, after that, though, after the Colts, you're going on the road against the Titans. So that one, even with Willis, he knows the team well enough to make
Willis revenge game, baby.
Yep. And then after that, you've got the Vikings at home, the most cursed team in the league right now. So, if there was a time to see Jordan Love go down, you probably want it now earlier in the season as opposed to later on.
Yeah, especially because it gives them enough time to maybe see what they have in Malik Willis, and hopefully he can ride the ship and kind of figure it out a little bit.
You got nothing in Malik Willis.
I mean, you really just need, I would say you probably just need one win out of those 3, maybe 2. And I think Willis can at the very least get you a win against the Vikings. Now, the Titans and Colts are going to be a toss-up, but at least Minnesota, you've got a shot with them.
Dude, Titans and Colts have great defenses. I don't see that happening. Yeah. Vikings defense is coming up. I think they're mediocre. Not at best, at least, but they're in the middle of the pack. So that could be a toss-up for sure. It's just that, dude, I don't believe in Malik Willis. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you don't.
Yeah, I mean, and also I kind of like what you're saying as well about that. It's better for this to happen in the beginning of the season than later on in the season. There are other viable options out there if they need to make a trade, if they need to make something. Give Willis maybe one or a couple games, see how it is. Hopefully, Love can come back sooner than later. Obviously, that's what you want.